Hi everyone, happy Sex Tip Sunday. Today I'm here to break down the acronym LGBTQIA2S+. I know it's a mouthful, I don't care. L is for lesbian, meaning a woman that finds herself attracted to other women. Gender is pretty complicated and everything, but that's just the definition. That's what it is. G is for gay. Now, typically, this definition is referring to a man that is attracted to other men. But it does get used interchangeably with other forms of homosexuality. Like I know myself and others, we call ourselves gay, or be like, oh, that's like super gay in the positive homosexual way. Don't use that in a negative, derogatory way, meaning uncool. Just don't. B is for bisexual. Again, gender is not binary. And so I know bisexual and what it means gets argued a lot. I would just kind of say it is a person that is attracted to two or more genders, not specifically the binary. T stands for transgender. This is somebody that was assigned either boy or girl at birth, and they don't feel that way, they don't identify that way. Transgender can mean a lot of things. Even if you are not binary, you can be transgender, because trans just means through, so you're somewhere else on the spectrum that you were than what you were identified as at birth. Because we all know when a baby's born, it just comes out and they look at the external genitalia and go, it's a, and we know that sex and gender are a lot more complicated than that. Check out another video for that one. Q stands for queer. People ask me all the time what queer means. I definitely identify as queer. I feel like it honestly makes the most sense for my sexuality because I don't identify as a lesbian. I'm attracted to genders other than women. And I don't really call myself bi either. This one isn't in there, but P means pansexual, and that means you don't care what genitals they have. You are just attracted to people, regardless of what parts they have. Anyway, so queer is kind of an umbrella term, basically meaning not straight, that you're not heterosexual. So queer can just kind of be an all-encompassing and often vague, which is okay, word, because yeah, I feel like mine is kind of vague, and I'm like, I'm queer, like I'm definitely queer. I've heard some people try to argue that Q means questioning. I'm all for people, making other suggestions or being like, I've heard it's for this. But I'll tell you this, it's not for questioning. Questioning is not an orientation. The Q stands for queer. I stands for, I does not stand for oops. I stands for intersex. And in my book, Polyglamorous, A Queer Woman's Misadventures and Lessons in Non-Monogamy, yes, I had to look at my cover for some reason. In the glossary, it states, intersex, being born with any of several variations in sex characteristics, including internal and external sexual organs, chromosomes, hormones, and genitals. So being intersex actually takes up about the same amount of the population as redheads do. It's 1.7% of the population. And a lot of people actually don't know that they're intersex because, like I said, when you're born, they just look at your genitals and make an announcement, And then later, often after puberty, or maybe even never, it's discovered that there are certain variations within your biological sex. And some people have really taken hold of intersex as an identity, and I think that's fucking awesome. I think it's something that needs a lot more awareness and understanding from everyone. I heard some comments, some people saying that I means interested, also not a sexual orientation or gender identity. So yeah, it's not interested. A stands for asexual. I've heard some people argue that A stands for ally, and trust me, we love you allies so much and we appreciate everything you do. Allies don't fall within that acronym of being a marginalized community with alternative gender and sexuality. We love you. I'm sorry. Allies is not in there. A stands for asexual. Typically, asexual is referring to a person that does not experience romantic and or sexual attraction. That doesn't mean they don't date or have sex or masturbate. Everyone is a little bit different, but that is what asexual means, and sometimes you might see it referred to as ace. Two-spirit is an indigenous person who identifies with both masculine and feminine spirit, typically referring to sexual, gender, and or spiritual identity. This is an indigenous term. Please do not use this term when referring to yourself or your identity if you are not indigenous. Please. And plus, of course, there is just a huge wide spectrum of various sexual identities and gender identities. There's, things like demisexual, sapiosexual, I already mentioned pansexual. So the plus, of course, includes other folks. But the LGBTQIA2S plus, yes, it's a mouthful. I don't care. It takes practice and I still practice it. But that is what those stand for. If you have any questions or maybe other letters that you've heard might stand for something else, I'm open to hearing what it is. We'll see. But to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, that is what those stand for. And you're welcome. Happy Sex Tip Sunday. Please remember, on my website, alternativesexuality.ca, you can get books, t-shirts, merch like stickers. All of that right now is 30% off using the promo code community. And I've just released my very first video workshop. It's my needle play one-on-one workshop. You can also find that on my website, alternativesexuality.ca. And very soon I'm going to be releasing pain processing and alternatives to monogamy. So keep posted. Thank you so much for the support. I know times are tough right now. Take care of each other and stay the fuck home. Mwah.